Hey everyone. So in programming, there's this one tool that can literally save you from hours and hours of tedious work. It's kind of the secret to making your computer do all the heavy lifting for you. And today, we're going to master it. Let's dive right into the power of for loops. I mean, just think about the last time you had to copy and paste something over and over and over. It's draining, right? Well, guess what? In programming, that's a problem we can actually solve. The whole goal here is to put you in control, to automate all that boring stuff and free you up for the fun, creative work. And it really all starts by taking on this problem of manual repetition. Okay, let's talk about the tyranny of repetition. We've all been there, right? Stuck in that endless loop of copy-paste, copy-paste. It's a classic problem, and honestly, it's one of the first things every programmer learns how to crush. So let's imagine you need to print hello 10 times. I mean, sure, you could write the code once, then copy it and paste it 9 more times. Yeah, it'd work, but it's so messy and super inefficient. And what happens if you find a mistake? Now you have to fix it in 10 different places. Ugh, there just has to be a better way. And of course there is. That better way is the for loop. This is your new automation tool. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful tool that lets you just tell the computer, hey, do this and do it this many times. That's it. No more copy pasting, just clean, efficient code. Okay, before we get into the actual code, we need to get one key idea down. It's called iteration. Now, I know it sounds like a fancy word, but it's a super simple concept. It just means repeating a process. Think of it like taking steps on a walk. Each step you take is one iteration, and the whole walk, that's your loop. Here's another great way to think about it, kind of like following a recipe. The recipe might say, stir the mixture for 5 minutes. The action you repeat is the stirring. The for loop is exactly like that. You just give it an action and tell it how many times to do it, and it just takes care of the rest. So really, in a nutshell, the for loop automates all this iteration for you. It's like your own personal assistant for repetition. It does all the tedious counting and looping so you can focus on the bigger picture of what you actually want to achieve. All right, enough theory. That's great and all, but let's see how this thing actually works in practice. We're going to break down the mechanics of a for loop right now and see how it handles things like lists, strings, and just plain old numbers. Okay, so here's the classic example. We've got a list, right? It's called fruits, and it has apple, banana, and cherry. The for loop basically says, hey, for each fruit you find inside that fruits list, I want you to do something. And in this case, that something is super simple. Just print whatever fruit we're currently looking at. So on the very first pass, the loop grabs the first item, which is apple, and it stores it in that temporary fruit variable. Then it runs the code inside the loop, which, you guessed it, prints apple to the screen. Okay, once that first round is done, the loop just automatically moves on to the next item. So now that fruit variable gets updated to hold banana. And then the print command runs again, but this time it's printing banana. And finally, the loop does the exact same thing for the last item, cherry. After that's printed, the loop looks at the list, sees there's nothing left, and just stops. That's it. It's a super simple, clean, and totally automated way to work through a bunch of items. And here's the cool part. This logic doesn't just work for lists. It also works on strings. Because if you think about it, a string is just a sequence of characters. So you can use a for loop to go through a word or a sentence letter by letter. This is like incredibly useful when you get into text analysis. Okay, but what if you don't have a list? What if you just want to do something, say, 5 times? That's a super common scenario, right? Well, there's a specific tool just for that. And that tool is the range function. This thing is your absolute go-to for controlling loops with numbers. It's so versatile. You can tell it to count up to a number or between 2 numbers, or you can even have it count in steps, like every second or third number. It's just the perfect way to generate a sequence of numbers on the fly for your loop to use. All right, time for a quick check. Let's see if you're getting this. We're going to loop through range of 3. In each pass of the loop, we're printing the current number multiplied by 2. So, what do you think the final output is going to be? Take a second. And the answer is 0, 2, and 4. If you got that, you totally nailed it. Remember, range of 3 gives us the numbers 0, 1, and 2. The loop just takes each one, multiplies it by 2, and prints it out. So 0 times 2 is 0, 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. Awesome job. Okay, so this isn't just some abstract programming thing we're learning for fun. Loops are literally the engine running behind the scenes of countless features you use every single day. Let's look at some real-world examples.
Think about it. Every single time you scroll through your social media feed, you're watching a for loop in action. It's just going through a big list of posts and displaying them one by one. Same thing with video games. There's a massive loop constantly running to update what you see on the screen. Even something like sending out a bunch of personalized welcome messages. Yep, that's a job for a for loop.
And if you're interested in data analysis, oh man, loops are absolutely critical. You need to count how many times a certain word appears in a huge document. You're going to loop through every single word. You need to process every row in a giant spreadsheet to get a total. That's a for loop. It is truly the workhorse of data processing. So here we are. We've gone from the pain of repetition to the elegant solution of the for loop, and we've seen just how powerful it is in the real world. So the question now becomes, what are you going to do with this? The big takeaway here is really simple. You've just learned the secret to making computers do the hard, repetitive work for you. You now have the power to hand off all those boring, tedious tasks to your computer, freeing you up to focus on the creative, problem-solving work that actually matters. Look, you now know one of programming's biggest secrets. And this isn't just about writing code. It's really a shift in your mindset. It's about starting to see the world in terms of patterns and processes that can be automated. So I'll leave you with this. What will you automate first?